Mormons in the college football playoff. That's what we're talking about in 2024. If I told you that through 7 weeks, the Indiana Hoosiers were going to be undefeated first in the Big Ten and have a shot at the college football playoff, you would think I'm actually on drugs. But in my opinion, the chaos is what makes college football so amazing. I've been talking about this for a year now. It's been a while since I've done one of these commentary videos. I've been going all around the country, my stadium tour series, the shenanigans tour, doing all this fun stuff. But for you OG fans who love this, I got you. Go check out the videos if you haven't yet. I'm going conference by conference in the Power 4, talking about teams that can stir everything up. Starting with number 21 SMU out of the ACC. Coming into the season, there were some expectations knowing that they had one of the weakest schedules in all of college football, a high-flying offense, but let's be real, we forgot about them. They played week 0 versus Nevada. It was not a great game. They almost should have lost that. Then a few weeks later, they lost to BYU 18-15, but at the time, we didn't realize that BYU is a top team in college football. What have they done since that loss? They went on the road to beat a ranked Louisville team. They destroyed Florida State and DJ Uiagalelei and also looked great in the Iron Skillet game against TCU. Number 20 Pitt, who is ranked above SMU, I don't agree with that. They are 6-0. They don't have that one loss. However, they don't have as good of a resume and also close wins. Close wins almost every time they go out there. They barely beat West Virginia, Cincinnati, and also Cal. What do these three teams have in common? They're not great. I'm not saying Pitt can't do it. It would be awesome for them to get to the championship game and possibly pull off an upset, but they still have to face Clemson and Louisville in the regular season, going to be hard. For the Big 12, everyone was expecting entertainment, parity, upsets. Anyone 1 through 16 could realistically win it, but 3 teams were really supposed to be at the top. It was Kansas State, it was Oklahoma State, and also Arizona. Throw Utah into that mix at 4, but none of those squads are in first place. Right now, the 3 teams to beat are Iowa State, BYU, and even Texas Tech. Mormons in the college football playoff. That's what we're talking about in 2024. BYU is 6-0. I mentioned that close win over SMU. They also ran Avery Johnson and K-State out of the building in Provo. Look dominant against Arizona. This is a team that can get at you in many ways. They're going to cause turnovers. They're going to play well on special teams. I really like BYU. Not so fast BYU. You still have to play a hot Arizona State on the road and the Utah Utes in Salt Lake City, one of the toughest environments in college football, going to be an insane rivalry game. I haven't even talked about the top 10 team in the conference, the team that would be reaching the college football playoff if the season ended today, the Iowa State Cyclones, who have a ranked road win at Iowa, 6-0. Here's a real chaos team in the Big 12. Texas Tech, who lost week 2 on the road at Washington State. After I saw that game, I'm like, wow, there's no chance they do anything in conference. What have they done since then? Won 4 straight games, and they're sitting tied for first place. Still 0 conference losses. The Red Raiders gave Arizona State their only loss. However, I'm not buying into the hype with the Sun Devils. They just beat Utah last Friday night, but remember, Cam Rising was completely hobbled with that leg injury. He was almost a no-show in the passing game. Also, the Sun Devils have one of the hardest schedules left in the conference. There's seemingly no way they reach the conference championship or the playoff, but I hope I'm proven wrong. This is what it's all about. Heading over to the Big Ten, there's one team that's obviously the big chaos standout. Indiana, I made fun of you all last season. I made fun of you all off season. I apologize. Kurt Signetti turning around the program in year 1. You are that guy. Plain and simple, although the Hoosiers are 6-0, 3-0 in conference, they played absolutely no one. They're going to be tested real soon. They face Nebraska this week. Then in a couple weeks, they have to face Michigan and Ohio State back-to-back. And if they lose to Ohio State, they have 1 loss. Also, Indiana has 1 loss. They're going to lose the tiebreaker. So at this point, they pretty much have to beat Ohio State to go to the Big Ten championship. That is a very tall task. We can still wish for it to happen, but Nebraska is a very good team themselves. They have 1 loss in conference. Remember, they have a great defense. Dylan Raiola has been playing solid all season. I think Nebraska could also be another surprise team, but they also have to go through Ohio State. So Ohio State pretty much wrecks this all because we know that Oregon's going to be at the top in the Big Ten. Ohio State's going to be number 2, and there's no way Ohio State gets that second loss. And if they do, it's going to be against Penn State. But Penn State, how are they going to get more than 2 losses? So pretty much all these Cinderella teams like Indiana, Nebraska, whoever you want to say, are screwed by the big dogs, Ohio State and Penn State. In the SEC, we have 2 teams that could wreak some havoc. First of all, Texas A&M. I completely wrote them off after they lost to Notre Dame. They've won 5 straight. They've looked a lot better. They have a favorable schedule. Let's look at the schedule right now. Before that game at Texas, I really think they have a shot of going undefeated. Let's say they do that, lose the game to Texas. If Texas is undefeated and has beat Georgia at that point, that means the tiebreaker would go to A&M. A&M would face the Longhorns again in the SEC championship game. That's exactly what I want to happen. I don't want to see Georgia and Texas play again. I don't want to see Bama in it. None of that. I don't want to see something crazy. Mike Elko in year 1 in College Station. Come on, that would be wild. LSU 5-1. Their only loss was non-conference to USC because we all know Brian Kelly's so good in week 1 games. They have Alabama at home. I'm just saying. And other than that, they have Florida. I mean, do we really care about Florida this year? Vandy is a tricky game now. Y'all know. You've been watching the YouTube shorts. The SEC Chaos team will be decided on Saturday, October 26th in College Station. LSU at Texas A&M. That's an elimination game for both of them. In the group of 5, Army and Navy are both undefeated, and that could be a huge problem for Boise State, because Boise State, if they slip up one more time, let's say they lose to UNLV in conference play, now they have 2 losses, including the one for Oregon. I know that's a great loss. They win the Mountain West Championship at 2 losses. Let's say either Army or Navy makes it to the American Championship unscathed. Who are you going to put in at that point? I know, we all think Boise State's amazing. They have Ashton Genty. They hung in there with the number 2 team in the country in Eugene, the Ducks, but they would get screwed by a military academy. Don't sleep on Washington State either. They're 5-1, and their only L was to Boise State. And remember, I told you earlier, they beat Texas Tech. If Texas Tech somehow goes to the Big 12 championship game, they make some noise. That will look a lot better for Washington State having that quality win. So maybe a Boise State loss, an Army or Navy loss. The Cougs could sneak in there as well. And in the Mountain West, UNLV pretty much has the same power as Boise State. They could win out, be a 1-loss conference champion, but it's all going to depend on what Army and Navy do. All right, it's raining. I'm done. Make sure to destroy that like button to get this video out to as many college football fans like yourself as possible. I'm going to do the old outro. I've been Saturday Shenanigans, your home for unfiltered college football content, and I'll see you guys soon.